Tell us about the beautiful design and architecture of this masjid. It reminds you of the Spanish times of Muslims.
We live in a community called Santa Luz, and the Santa Luz community has its own design requirement, which is basically based on Spanish design.
And certainly San Diego attracts good weather that people like to come here. When I saw the land, this is a prime land.
It's not just Salaam alaikum, wa alaikum salam, Allahu Akbar, pray and leave. It shouldn't be robotic that way. Everything we should socialize with one another. There should be some type of interaction. We need to socialize. When we socialize, it becomes a little bit more healthier for our mental health, our emotional health.
The number of students has just grown exponentially, where our Sunday classes are filled. We have 6 classrooms.
Right.
We have the musalla and the library, and it's full. It's literally overflowing.
To see them, I want to see them fit. I want to see them active. When they gotta become a warrior, it's not just becoming a warrior in the ring. They become a warrior in the life too.
You're the only one here. Do you feel that I wish there were more sisters working out with you?
I'm choosing to come here because I feel comfortable. Also, these are literally like my younger brothers, so I don't feel uncomfortable with them. I do wish for more women to be here.
Hopefully they come after seeing you, inspired by you, inshallah.
I think 10 years ahead of it, what you could do. Now you have a foundation, build on it.
Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar.
My name is Syed Ali. I'm the chairman of Foundation Board. Well, it started in about the middle of 2001. And at that point in time, Northeast County was growing at a faster pace than the rest of the San Diego. We saw the need in this North County and started the formation of MCC operations, and that is forming the bylaws. The group of us got together, we were sitting at home, we were brainstorming the foundation bylaws and the structure. It came together and we leased our first facility in Penasquitos. Soon we outgrew that facility and it became very apparent the need is more. So we started to look at it 5 years down the road, 10 years down the road, and then with the help of the committee members, they said, let's go look for the land. So I started the search, looking for the land, searching for the land, and we were very fortunate to find this land. This is a prime land in San Diego, and having to have a land which has an approval to construct a church, that makes it a lot more easier. There were difficulties in acquiring the land because the seller would not subdivide it. I started with 1 acre, 2 acres. Finally, we ended up having a 6-acre parcel. And the other challenge was, how do you pay this kind of money? And we were just in the starting phase. So we structured a deal with the seller to have a seller financing. It gave me a breathing room to raise money, and it took us about 3 years to pay this thing off. But as the community saw the land and saw what we were going to construct, we shared our vision, and really what we would like to build is what you see now. And that is, we wanted to build a community center that is open to everyone. It's not one extreme or another extreme. We wanted to have the children to enjoy it. The tennis court, the basketball court, the gym, the play area, and by the grace of Allah, it all came together.
Assalamu alaikum. My name is Pervez Mobin, and I'm the Director Treasury for this center. I'm also the architect and engineer responsible for all the capital improvement for this facility. The current capacity of the musalla is about 500 people. That includes both sisters and brothers.
Tell us about the growth of the Muslim community here.
When we started this center about 2010, we had about a little bit less than 200 members. In 13 years, we basically doubled the membership. We are almost like 400 members now, and we keep growing every year.
Tell us about the history of Muslims in this part of Greater San Diego. When did they arrive? Why did they arrive in this part of San Diego?
Well, I moved to San Diego in 1979, and there was one Islamic center, which was a 3-bedroom house in El Cajon. Not very many people, and most of the people who were attending there were students from Saudi Arabia and Middle East. Soon after, the whole tech companies came into San Diego. From there, we started to see the growth in the tech side in San Diego. A lot of electronic technologies, biomedical companies came in, defense companies came in that brought in different demographics of Muslims. A lot of people from India, Pakistan, Jordan, you name it.
Shall we walk?
Sure. That started to grow the population. I can speak for myself. I came here in 79. I had one daughter, then a son and another son, and they grew up, and now they have children. So the families started expanding. And certainly San Diego attracts good weather that people like to come here. Having the tech industry, golf industry, biomedical, that gave a lot of job opportunities to the immigrants. That's how the growth came in. San Diego's south side was saturated. So the growth were more on the northeast side.
Tell us, Brother Pervez, about the beautiful design and architecture of this masjid. It reminds you of the Spanish times of Muslims with the beautiful arches. And tell us all about it.
We live in a community called Santa Luz, and the Santa Luz community has its own design requirement, which is basically based on Spanish design.
Right.
And so what you'll see is a lot of arches, red roof, stucco walls, and all of these came from the Islamic tradition in Spain, where we had, as you know, a history that there were a lot of Muslims there. And some of those arches came from actually Spanish. So it was a combination of the Santa Luz requirement and also the Spanish tradition.
So by default, Allah chose this neighborhood for this masjid, and it also has the resemblance of Islamic influence in Spain.
Yeah, that's correct.
Yes.
And so it was a good fit for the Islamic mosque to be in this area.
You've seen the community grow over the past.
Oh my God, yes. Phenomenal growth. And that's the thing I think we as a board need to look at it. What's our vision down the road? Had we stuck with the 1,500 square foot facility that we had 15 years ago, had we not thought about this at that time, the community would have had a challenge.
At that time, it must have been a challenge to raise those funds to buy the land. And why did you think that we need such a big space?
I was thinking more far ahead, and especially when I saw the land, this is a prime land. It's not no other land you would be available in, I would say, in the next 25 miles radius. Whatever we can do to attain this land, if the seller arranges the financing, slowly and surely we'll raise the fund and build it. Where it is and the land was a driving factor, beside the growth in this area in Northeast. When the first center started 15 years ago, or even more, there was hardly 2 lanes in a 1,500 square feet space. And when we built the center, we were having about 3 or 4 roads. And today you come in, there's no room, especially in Jummahs and during the Ramadan period.
So many Muslims have moved.
So many Muslims.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. My name is Saifuddin Sabir. I'm the Imam here at Muslim Community Center.
So Imam, tell us the programs that happen here at the masjid.
In America, it's a bit different. You can't just think of religious programs here at the mosque, because kids, families, adults, they need much more than that. So instead of thinking this as a place of just prayer, we consider more of a center. A part of your life, which is the spiritual aspect of prayer, is taking care of the 5-time daily prayers, the Jummah, the Eid, Ramadan, Taraweeh, and all those things. But as well as that, they need to have something else that takes care of their social life as well too. So we have other programs like boxing for kids, soccer academy, bonfires. It's a little bit of everything that they can come see this place as a center where they can come after school, they can come do their homework, they can come and take part in other programs, and at the same time they take care of their spiritual side, which is the practicing the deen as well too. So that's why we call it Muslim Community Center. The whole life through your day centered around this place. There's a lot of other programs. The way we have Saturday, Sunday school, we have Quran school with basketball academies. We take them out to paintballing, bonfires at the beach and such like that. So they sort of develop relationships with one another. That's what Islam we see is the reason of it. Why are we praying 5 times a day in Jamaat? Why we have Eid? Why do we have Jummah? Is you need to have this social aspect where you recognize your brother, sisters recognize each other, and if there's something going on, everyone knows there's someone that's in need, and ultimately become a support factor for one another in both the deen and the dunya.
Assalamu alaikum. My name is Saima Naseem. I was education director here on the board since 2019 to 2022. I am the co-founder of a program we've had running for 7 years called Hikmah, and I founded the HIFZ program currently in it.
MashaAllah, that's amazing. So tell us about the history of the school.
In 1999, it was actually Arabic Learning Center. Sister Dina was running it then. 2003, she essentially donated it to MCC. That's when Al Manar took the name, and at that time there was no MCC Masjid building. So what they did is essentially had the classes in office spaces. So in Rancho Bernardo, rented out some rooms, and that's where Al Manar was established. Until the Masjid in 2010 officially was, mashallah, built and we opened, Al Manar was operationally functioning here as a weekend school Saturday and Sunday. Since 2010, mashallah, since we've had this space, the classes are filled up. So it's Saturday and Sunday. The principal now is Sister Rula. She's been principal since 2009 and she's done a wonderful job, very dedicated, mashallah. The number of students has just grown exponentially where our Sunday classes are filled. We have 6 classrooms.
Right.
We have the musalla and the library and it's full. It's literally overflowing.
Right.
We have classes on Saturday too, which is alhamdulillah, quite a few students, but the Sunday is more of the, the day that people want to join. And we also have Quran classes at the same time where people are learning how to read Quran. And we have the Hifz class at the same time simultaneously. So definitely, I know the expansion inshallah is in the works and those classrooms are going to add so much value to Al-Manar, in the bigger picture. And also with Al-Manar, the nice thing that, I would say is that we have a diversity in terms of our teachers, cultural, backgrounds, educational backgrounds, and as well as the students who attend. It's a wide variety of students. The diversity is amazing. Again, mashallah, it's been a really popular program that along with our Quran, our Hifz program, and other educational programs, mashallah, at MCC.
Why is it important for Muslim kids to be physically active, boxing and all of that?
First of all, assalamu alaikum. And second of all, thanks for taking my interview, taking your time. Oh, that's a good question that you asked me. I'm going to answer in one word. See them? I want to see them fit. I want to see them active because nowadays everyone in the phone, video games, spend so much time indoor. That's why they lose the confidence. They're using social media so much and they think they're getting better, but they're just wrong because they're just going down and down every single day. So the reason I got him here because I want him to spend some time with me, being with me, get confidence, learn boxing, self-defense. Boxing is not just boxing. You know what it is? It's a life, which is go ups and down, a roller coaster. You know what it is? When they gotta become a warrior, it's not just becoming a warrior in the ring. They become a warrior in the life too, because they're gonna face ups and downs in their life as a warrior. Yes. So that's a big thing for me to do and bring them all together. Like I said, I just want to get them out of their room, and I just wanted to get fit because you know what it is? We live in America. Once you pass 30 years old, there's a diabetes, there's cholesterol, there's a lot of stuff coming in, right? Yeah. Too much anxiety. So I hope nobody goes through this. That's the only reason I got this gym, and I want to train all these amazing kids.
Allahu Akbar.
My name is Mazma and we're doing boxing practices. Well, the guys are doing it for their competitions, but I'm doing it to help other sisters and teach them soon, inshallah.
Yes. Tell us, sister, what made you take on boxing and what inspired you to get into physical fitness?
I think especially the world that we live in, it's important for a woman to feel confident when she goes out. And one of the reasons is feeling strong enough that you can, if encounter a situation, hopefully not, but if so, you're ready, you're prepared. Also, boxing makes you feel more strong, as well as it's one of the sunnah to do it. That's what inspired me, and that's what got me to reach out to coach.
MashaAllah. And how long have you been doing this?
Here, I've started like 3 days ago, but I have done jiu-jitsu, which was in my small town with boxing. So I have seen the movements and everything, which inspired me, but I was more towards jiu-jitsu doing self-defensing, but I think boxing is better at self-defensing than jiu-jitsu. That's my personal opinion, which is another reason got me here.
After starting, how your confidence level has changed, or how do you feel about that?
I think, mashallah, I've gained more confidence, definitely. I feel like I have started doing more stuff that I want to do. For instance, participating in activities leadership roles, that's what got me to do it, because I feel physically more stronger than I used to. And a lot of your confidence is a skill which comes from like physical strength and mental strength. And I feel like doing boxing every day, or even going to the gym and doing it on my own when I had the time to, it is increasing my confidence to do more things than just like living a normal life, if that makes sense.
MashaAllah, that's amazing.
5 years ago, we wanted to be energy independent, and so we went ahead and put these solar panels that basically produces more power than we need. We are just connected to the grid, and we sell all the power. Daytime, whatever power we need in the building is actually comes from the solar panel. So we pay zero energy costs.
Basically covered parking, but with solar panels.
Yes.
How did this vision come in your mind?
Yeah, so this was something that I developed. If you look at the structure for it to support these panels, I put a sketch together, hired a structure engineer to design this. The idea came from the fact that in California, sunny weather, there is a tendency to harness the solar power and convert that to energy. And there was a trend that every house was putting solar panels, and so we decided to put one because we had a lot of space here. It not only provided power for the center, but also provided shade for the automobiles.
Really visionary, mashallah. As you mentioned, the children, what is the programs that they enjoy the most? What brings them to the masjid, in your opinion?
Technically, when a kid comes for Quran class, or when a kid comes for art class, or when a kid comes for basketball, it's according to the teachers that they'll like each one of those subjects. But overall, I think what they enjoy the most is the lectures where they can interact with the speaker as opposed to just sit back. So it's that socializing aspect that I think they enjoy the most. And it should be there in everything that we do. It's not just Salaam alaikum, wa alaikum salam, Allahu Akbar, pray and leave. It shouldn't be robotic that way. Everything we should socialize with one another. There should be some type of interaction. And that's what we need. And that's why if you look at the word insan, scholars, they say it comes from two different words. One is nisyan, which is to forget. They say it could come from is anis, which is sociable. And we need to socialize. When we socialize, it becomes a little bit more healthier for our mental health, our emotional health, and that's why marriage is so important in Islam. You create a relationship with someone that you can socialize more often for the rest of your life. With 5-time daily prayers, we should be socializing with one another. And if you take the opposite, the extreme of someone who's completely away from society and they want to go to themselves, they almost can lose their mental health and also to the point where they can become crazy as well too. But when these people come to visit them and they talk to them and they interact, calms them down and puts them at rest. If it's just a place where it's like empty, nobody move because I want to pray, nobody do this, nobody do that, then it becomes this type of masjid that's sort of overseas. The difference with that is overseas, if it's a whole Muslim country, you could reserve the masjid just for that because the kids can socialize in so many different areas that are still surrounded by Islamic morals and values. Over here, it's not like that. If they can't do that at the masjid, they'll socialize in an area which don't have or don't support those Islamic values, and then slowly kids start to lose their identity or their self. So that's why, like I said, we're trying to make this center an area where they can come and socialize as well as to take care of both their deen and their dunya as well.
Sure, that's very beautiful thoughts. And you mentioned hikmah. Tell us about that.
So hikmah it's very dear to my heart. It's something that we started in 2014. A friend of mine and me both started based on our children's needs. Friday night, it was just a program running here, 100 plus students, and we had a wait list because of the space. Once COVID hit, we kind of changed the dynamic, and then last year we decided to kind of take a little pause, revamp everything, and inshallah we'll bring it back down the road.
What exactly is it?
It's an education program, not so much a weekend school, rather Friday night halakha with more structure. So there's socialness where the kids are getting together, they're seeing their friends, and we do have like age-related curriculums that were relevant to the children. Again, it was a complement to Al-Manar. So Al-Manar is much more like, weekend school-based. They've got all the Quran, the Arabic, all of that. Hikmah was just more halakha-based.
Tell us about your personal experience in this community.
I've been here for a long time. I got elected as a director of treasury, but when I'm not the director, we have a 2-3-year term. So once you complete 6 years, you're done. But I continue to support the center because I have the added responsibility of maintaining, managing the architecture and engineering aspect of this facility and all the future capital improvement projects. My background is engineering, and I do design buildings, electrical system, and so I'm very familiar with the building requirements and all that. So that makes it easy for me to work in that area.
MashaAllah.
And actually, I'm leading the expansion project for the center.
MashaAllah, this community has a lot of very high-skilled people who are involved in the past, present, and the future of this masjid. Usually, you don't get to see that, but MashaAllah, in this community, there's a heavy emphasis on contributing to this community center plus masjid. Why are people so committed in this community?
First of all, we have people from all over the world, from Bangladesh, Pakistan, from India, from Egypt, Jordan, all those places, and they're settled over here with the idea of building a new life in America. At the same time, trying to maintain the religious aspect of their living and also the values that Islam teaches us. They're looking for a place where they can get some bounding between them. And so they find this place, the place to be, and develop that cultural values and maintain it, basically.
What excites you the most about being Imam at this masjid?
There was a point in my life where I had to make a choice. When I finished college, I had to either decide to become a mechanical engineer, which was my field that I studied in programming, or stay at the masjid and be the Imam. But the reason why I stayed to be the Imam is there was a period of my life that was filled with a lot of darkness. And it was around the same time of between when I graduated high school and I'm deciding to go to college. There was a lot of confusion in my life. And the only way all those thoughts and all that confusion, all those questions that I had got answered is when I went to study Islam and study Quran. Once I did that, things started to become very clear and I could see life for what it was. Before that, life didn't really make sense to me, and a lot of Islamic concepts that people were feeding me, they didn't make sense to me as well too. Once I started studying and I started asking scholars the same questions that I would ask from individuals before who couldn't answer them, but when I asked scholars, they would give me very simple, detailed answers that I had to accept. I couldn't really go against it because my logic accepted it. Before, I couldn't accept it because they'd give me just answers that they thought was answered, but they weren't the correct answers. So now when I got this chance, I said, why would I leave this opportunity when I see a whole bunch of kids going through the same ordeal and the same thoughts and the same confusions that I went through? I couldn't just leave them as is, and instead I could actually work with them. So that's what I enjoy the most, is that personal connection with every individual that comes to me dealing with issues or having questions. That when it comes to just me being the Imam, to fulfill the role of the Imam, I see the Prophet ﷺ that anybody could just grab him and ask him anything and take time from his life. And that's what I enjoy the most, that somebody should be openly come to me without feeling any kind of fear that I might put them down or anything, that they just feel comfortable and grab me, say, I have a question, can I talk to you with this? And I talk to them about it.
There is a sisters halakha that runs here every Friday night. So that's been running for a number of years. It was taking place in the musalla every Friday night. With COVID, things did change in our masjid, so we went online, and that's kind of stayed online. But they are coming back. There's been some other sister programs that are coming back to the masjid.
So that was the vision, that to have an open center, not driven by any one particular side, and have a democratic structure. And so we have a rollover of board of directors, both from the operations side and the foundation side. And in the bylaws, we stated what operation, who leases the facility from foundation. So we have two structures. One is the MCC operation, which deals with the day-to-day activities, all the programs, the prayer, the facility. They do a phenomenal job in maintaining the facility. MCC Foundation is focused on basically as a landlord. We're trying to look, what do we need in future? So now we're embarking on phase 2 to come up with expanding the school area. So going from 200 students to 600 students. And our vision was to have the center financial independence. So we're looking at forming some endowment infrastructure so that the center could be self-financed. So we're increasing the kids going 200 to 600. That definitely would give us more revenue. And with the prayer halls that we're about to construct, this room would become more of a multi-purpose room. So we'll be able to rent the facility for special events. So we have a revenue from here, revenue from here, that would help bring it closer to the financial goal of self-independence.
What are these? What's going on here?
These are rendering. The entrance to the facility does not have any proper entrance. So we're putting this water fountain for people who are citizens walking down the street. This idea came from Turkish mosque tradition, where they have water for other people that can come in and drink water. So that will be our landmark for the masjid. As you can see, the masjid is way down there, and it's not visible for the main street. So this will be sort of a landmark for that. If you look at this facility here, this is the existing facility right now that we are in, and we're expanding towards the Qibla. This building here is the covered courtyard that will house about 2,000 people, and then we'll have the actual musalla, which is this part here, the mosque, that will have 2 minarets, and it also has a mezzanine level, and that's where the main mosque will be. This is the side veranda outside the masjid. This is a view of the covered courtyard, which will be open on all sides, and then this is the interior of the masjid, inshallah. That's the dome, that's the upper level, and this is a view of the Qibla wall, with the minbar.
So tell us, Brother Pervez, about the need for this mega expansion.
What has happened during the past 10-15 years is that there is an increase in the population and also people migrating to San Diego and settling here.
Right.
It's a perfect city to live in. It's very beautiful, moderate temperature.
Yeah.
And it's a place where you can raise your kids. During month of Ramadan, we have Taraweehs here, and then we have weekend iftar for about 600 people every iftar on Saturdays. And we actually basically do the iftar in the green turf area. That's where we set up the tent. For the Taraweeh, we also put out 10 because there's not enough capacity to put everybody inside the building. So we do the prayer outside. So that basically is the need to expand. Because we're getting colder weather as the Ramadan comes forward. What our plan is, this area here will be where the covered courtyard will be, and then beyond that will be the new masjid. The masjid will have a capacity of about 1,000 people. The courtyard will have a capacity of about 500, and then this existing is 500. And then we have people praying in the veranda. So total capacity we have is 2,500. During the Eid al-Fitr namaz, we have over 2,000 people who come here for praying. And what we do currently without the structure here, we set up tents, 10,000 square feet to accommodate all the namazes for the Eid al-Fitr prayers. And so all of that put together is the need to expand to add more prayer area. Beyond this little shed we'll have a 2-story structure which will have about 16 classrooms with a principal's office, assistant principal's office. Then on the back side we'll put a 2-bedroom apartment for the caretaker. So we have somebody here 24/7 to look after the masjid.
I heard the mention of a cafe as well.
Yeah, there'll be a cafe, also a food prep area. And what you will see is right here will be the covered courtyard. The cafe will sit right there. And behind that will be between this ancillary building and the basketball court will be a plaza where people can sit down and have outdoor event.
Subhanallah. And the idea of the courtyard, where did it come from?
Yeah, the idea of the courtyard was the fact that we have very pleasant weather in San Diego, and we want to take advantage of it and be a little bit more green, so we don't have to have condition the space to keep it open, and that's where the idea came, and it's cost effective also.
Any message to the sisters that have a confidence problem? MashaAllah, you're a hijabi, you are the representation of Islam out there. Any message to the sisters to increase their confidence?
I would definitely recommend the sisters, especially if MCC does their boxing, and inshallah if I get to be the tutor, please come do it. Like at first it's scary, but literally it's one step at a time, and the second you start, you're not gonna want to stop, because it's going to increase your confidence. Fundamentally, you're going to feel more confident wherever and whenever you walk into our room and whatever you do. I'm literally not lying. Do it. I used to be an introvert. I had so much anxiety, but alhamdulillah, doing boxing and physical activity has brought it so much down, and my confidence has gone up. It really helps your confidence skills.
What inspired you, in the first place? There must be something, right?
Yeah, mashallah, there is. First, my mom, she used to do like inside home gym, right? She like literally inspired me when I came to college. I live alone, so that's also being alone in USA, especially with everything happening around the world and so much Muslim being taken advantage of right now, living in the West, physically especially. That's literally what inspired me to protect myself and inshallah help other women to protect themselves, especially like if I can do so, if I have the chance to, also have the time. So I'm like, why not invest myself into something that's gonna make me stronger?
You're the only one here. Do you feel that I wish there were more sisters here working out with you?
I mean, I think the coach is amazing. Like, I think that's what Gami's saying. He did tell me that if I'm comfortable to come here, so I'm choosing to come here because I feel comfortable. Also, these are literally like my younger brothers, so I don't feel uncomfortable with them. I do hope more women to come, but I understand why they don't want to come, because you grow the best when you're comfortable, and that's kind of what got me here in the first spot, because I want to feel comfortable, I want to grow, and then I want to help those other women. MTC actually has a women's boxing, though they don't have a coach right now, which is what they're planning on having in the future, inshallah. Who knows, maybe I'll be the coach, I don't know. But inshallah, that's That's the plan. I do wish for more women to be here, but due to the circumstances, I know they can't come.
Hopefully they come after seeing you, inspired by you, inshallah.
I really hope so. I mean,
we have our own challenges living here than living somewhere else. The main thing that I would say is understand that in America, we have, just like we have with race, this boiling pot of everybody coming from different races. We also have this boiling pot of all different types of Muslims that have chosen different methodologies to bring deen or religion into their life and implement a deen into their life. And we should work with one another. There's no reason that there should be one should be a blockade for another, or one should put down another. And instead, we just work with one another to try to do what we do best. The best example is if we look at the conversation between Imam Abu Hanifa and Imam Malik, where they differ in so many different things, but they wouldn't argue with one another. So it's like he would say something, one of them would say something, and instead of the other saying say it's wrong, they just stay quiet and say their own opinion. So it's like if we apply that sort of in our general implementation of Islam within our life, as someone may come, I feel like we should do this. Yeah, we should do this, and I feel we should do this. There's no right or wrong. There's no do this. Now, obviously, there are certain things that may be wrong, and it's clear from Quran and Sunnah. But something that's not that clear, and maybe there's a way to interpret a different way, we should work with one another and not sort of work against each other. Sometimes all the masajids and all the organizations, they just keep reinventing the wheel because they're competing with one another as opposed to working with one another. So maybe there might be a very good Quran school in a certain city. We should all support that. And there might be a good program that one masjid has in sort of working with a certain age group, then they should share that with all the other masajid, and all the other masajid should implement that as well. There might be a good Eid program, there might be a good Ramadan program. Everybody is doing something better than someone else, and everyone is lacking somewhere that someone is doing somewhere else. So we learn from one another, work together, as opposed to competing and working against each other.
As a Muslim woman, how does it feel to be part of the masjid here at MCC?
That's a wonderful question. I would say, mashallah, I've been active since a teenager. At this point in my life, having my own children and being part of the community, I would say MCC is really welcoming to sisters. You see in the musalla, it's open. Females are on the boards. Mashallah, or like I said, our principal, Sister Rula, we have a sister running the weekend school. Very accommodating and inclusive to sisters.
What's your message to the people that are thinking about moving to San Diego and this area, as mashallah you've given all your life to building this amazing, beautiful masjid? What next generation message you'd like to give to the next generation?
Well, the next generation focus on growth. This is today, but think 10 years ahead of it, what you could do. Now you have a foundation, build on it. Not necessarily if you run out of the space over yet, but think out of the box. Think about the senior center. As you know, more people are getting the age of 65 and above every day. So I think we as a community have to make an arrangement for the seniors. Parking, no matter which center you go to, we thought we had enough parking. And when you see it in Ramadan and Jummah, we don't have enough parking. We need to look for the parking structure. Looking what the need of the community is down the road, and build upon what we have and be open, just open to everything, attached to nothing. I would say invest in our children. Think about the children, because we're raising our children in the United States. It's different than our home country. There are different sort of pressures associated with it, but you have to accommodate, make those changes to look at that today's generation is thinking in terms of creating a center or creating an environment, make it kids friendly. Look, right here, the kids are playing basketball. At their prayer times are, they'll come in and read it. But if you make it like as stringent as a mosque and you come in, it's not going to attract that many people or that many kids.
The important thing is that when you build a mosque, find a place where you have a lot of land around it for expansion, because once you build a mosque, there's always expansion and growth. So to our friends in other parts of this country, I would encourage people to buy, which is big and where you have expansion capability. Parking is always an issue, so we have to make sure that you have enough parking. If you don't, then develop some underground parking structure above ground, and that is an important consideration. When you have big event like Eid al-Fitr or during Ramadan, there's a huge traffic, and even during Jummah prayers, there's a lot of traffic, so you have to think about managing the traffic, parking, and the people that come to big events, to manage them. There's always need for schools, always look for the future. You've got to make room for the future, for your future kids. So make sure you keep that as part of your agenda for your goals to reach.
Be proactive.
Be proactive, yes.
MashaAllah, that's beautiful.
Yeah, so for individuals who want to move in to San Diego, I think it's a great city to live in and to raise kids. And I would always, when you move to this San Diego area, look for good school system. And Pave Unified School District is one of the best school district, public school. Try and buy homes near mosques so you can go and say your prayers, your daily prayers, and help the masjid. It is important link to our religion that we have mosques wherever we can build one, and so that our people feel continuity with their religion and culture. That's very important.